Okay, Mary Beth, the first thing I have to ask you is how often do people just totally butcher your name by saying like Mary Beth Champernault or something like that?
I mean, I would say that nobody ever gets it right. So every
Okay.
day,
Every day. But
every day.
it's Mary Beth Champernoune is how I would say it.
It,
Is that right?
it's,
There
I
you go.
mean, it's better than I can say it. So,
You passed the telemarketer test. That's how I know if somebody knows me or not.
yep.
If they call me and they're like, "Is Brad Dieter there?" I'm like, "Nope."
I'm like,
That's what I was just
um,
about to say. I know somebody knows me if they say it semi correctly.
Yeah.
but it is I think I've asked you this before. I could have sworn maybe we had this conversation in Chicago, but it is French, right?
Yes, my husband is from Paris,
Husband.
France.
Wow. Maybe I don't know if I knew that part, but that's cool. Do you guys so he still has family there? Do you ever visit? Do you go abroad? Do you yeah. It's
Yeah, so
it's
he's the only one here. His job brought him here. When he graduated college, he was offered a like a 18-month internship, basically the equivalent of
okay,
that, for an engineering firm. It's a French Swiss company. And so he
cool.
came, and then at the end of it, they were like, "Hey, you want to stay for 3 years?"
We wanna
And
nice.
it was like, "Sure, I'll travel." And then it kind of went 3 years, and then 3 years, and then he met me, and of course he didn't want to leave.
So no, that's cool though. I don't think I knew about I knew he spoke French. I didn't realize he was from Paris, but yeah, cool. Well, for anyone that doesn't know who Mary Beth is, she is one of our coaches. She's been here how long now?
December was 2 years as a coach. Yep.
Okay. So a couple years as a coach, and then you were how long before that were you a moderator?
Probably about a year and a half. Yeah, I mean, I've been around about
Yeah.
a little over 4 years, I would say.
Okay. What about in the world of macros in general, just like the nutrition and macro world? How long has that been part of your life?
Oh man. I mean, in terms of coaching, just in my time here, if you would have told me 4 years ago this is what I would be doing, I would laugh. I would have laughed really hard, actually. However, I've been an athlete my whole life. I have trained for a bodybuilding competition in the past, so it wasn't necessarily a new world, but
Yeah.
being having the ability and to coach other people is only in the last 3 years.
So when did you start getting into like fitness and nutrition and start taking that seriously? Not just professionally, but it's like you personally too, like
Um,
dialing in on your own nutrition and your own fitness levels and that sort of thing.
yeah, it's kind of ebbed and flowed over the years. I have been in places where I've been very physically fit, training for bodybuilding competitions. I've been in places after that where I have not been very physically fit. Life, kids, right? All the things that all of our clients go through. But really, I would say again, the last 4 years, like the last 4 years has been the pivotal changing from kind of dabbling it and doing what I was told to do instead of being taught by a coach here, like why we do what we do, right? So the education piece came in honestly with hiring a coach here.
Kind
Yeah.
of walk me through I mean, I think your experience that you've had resonates with a lot of people of like your younger years, then having kids, raising kids, the just messy middle part of life where everything just gets crazy. I feel like I'm just entering into that right now. And then like this third wave that you've been through, kind of like just talk me through what that experience was from like the physical, the mental, like how you've kind of navigated that. Cause I think that is a big thing that people experience.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that oh, it's such a deep question in so many different ways. I think that my experience was just a lot of what most of our clients experience, especially females who are mothers. We get into a place where motherhood becomes our identity, and we can often lose who we are instead of the titles that we hold. And it becomes really easy to do that because we're tired, because we're mom, we're a wife, we're a daughter, we're a friend, we're all these things. And we kind of get taught somewhat at an early age to be people pleasers. And so we start pleasing everybody else but ourselves, and it kind of becomes autopilot. And so it's just a lot of not paying attention to a lot of different things. And just like losing weight, losing body fat doesn't happen fast, gaining it really doesn't either. But when you don't pay attention to it, it feels really fast, right? But when you're paying attention to losing weight, like it feels so slow. And so I think the identity shift for me became I knew actually exactly what to do, really, when I hired a coach, but I needed skin in the game. Um, I needed somebody to answer to, kind of. And kind of the people pleasing piece too, right? I wanted somebody to like, I needed somebody else besides just me to be proud of me. I'll be honest. Like that's kind of like where it came from. But also, I come from a very this is what I tell my clients. I come from a couch sitting, casserole eating, cigarette smoking, beer drinking Midwest family, riddled with diabetes, early death. And my mother died at 67. And that was, I think, a really big eye opening. Like I'm following in her same footsteps. And I don't want that. And I don't want my kids to have to go through what I've gone through. And that was kind of the mental shift. It became more about longevity and health and less about aesthetics, and was able to semi achieve that here. And so now, man, to be able to give 5% of what I've gained, like as a client myself, back to clients is everything.
I think one of the points you touched on there goes so underappreciated, and it's the like, I wanted somebody else to be proud of me. I mean, one of the things that I've seen is there's a lot of people, I think, who come from family backgrounds similar to yours, in which they're the only person on this journey, and it feels not just like very lonely of like nobody really cares about what I'm doing, but also like people are actively pulling you back.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Lonely is something I discuss with my clients a lot. I'm fortunate to have a spouse who is very, very supportive. Will weigh things for me if he's making dinner, right? He will do all the things that I would be doing. But lonely is a different, like it holds so many different titles, or like so many different ways, right? Like you can be lonely, there's nobody around, and you can be lonely, like nobody else feels what I'm feeling. Nobody else is having to say no to things. Nobody else is having to set boundaries with people that other people are like, what are you doing? Who are you becoming? Um, yeah, and I think a lot of people do actually have the want to like desire more than mediocrity, but a lot of people don't, and it's a hard thing to step outside of, because you're often alone, or you have to cut out people and habits that have kind of helped us survive right through different phases of life in order to step foot into a new life, and that's lonely. It's really lonely.
Mary Beth, one of another thing that you had said that I want to highlight is because I know a lot of our clients deal with it, is what you said about being a mom, being a wife, and just how that becomes your identity. And I think for a lot of women that can sort of create some resentment, or maybe not resentment, maybe that's not the right word, but just like you feel like that's not only who I am. That's not just who I am. But it's interesting to me when I look back on throughout my life as you know, from being a kid when I really couldn't understand that to now. I remember, there were times where my own mom was frustrated, and as a kid, you don't really understand why. And then you grow up, you start to learn more about people, you start to learn more about women, and then you get in a relationship. I'm married now, I have 4 kids, and I see that sometimes in my own wife, where she's like, it's caring for 4 kids is a lot on top of already, your job and just all the other obligations, right? And so I've seen times where she's been like, I feel like I'm just a mom, and like I clean up all the time. I do, it's like this is who I am now, and I that can create some frustration, to put it lightly. But that's a common thing that people come to us for, because they're like, I want to lose weight, I want to look better, but I don't know how to deal with all this stuff, and like I'm just I don't like who I've become. I don't like what my identity seems to be. And you can relate to that. This is what you were touching on. So I'm curious, how do you, when you get someone that comes to you like that, with all these problems that you can personally relate to, and you've seen, how do you work with that type of person?
I think it's a bit nuanced because everybody's lives are different, right? Everybody's marriages are different. Everybody's like some of them work, right? Some of them don't. And they're both hard, just in different ways. But I think that generally speaking, the common denominator that I see amongst almost all clients is fear of having difficult conversations and setting boundaries. And people often misconstruing that boundaries are for other people, but they're actually for us. Um, and I think that I do have a lot of those conversations with people because it is often what is holding them back is the fear of what is this person going to think of me? What is this what if they leave? What if they don't, it doesn't have to be a spouse, right? It can be friends. For example, I I personally have cut out a lot of relationships in my life because as I took a step back and took inventory a little bit, I'm at a place in my life where if it's not bringing me joy or helping me go forward or grow, it's taking something from me, right? And so I think a lot of people are afraid to be, again, alone. Here's the other lonely, right? Lonely is a common thing. All of a sudden, my friends don't want to hang out with me because I don't drink, right? It's like, no, you can still go out with your friends and hold true to what you're looking to achieve, right? And I think naturally people are afraid to set boundaries. What if my spouse doesn't get on board, right? What if this, what if that? And then they go into the worry of, I tell my clients too, worry is a down payment on a problem you may never have. Um, and it takes a lot of mental energy that we could be shifting somewhere else. And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, those clients that finally set boundaries, again, with no matter who it is, they're like, wow, that went really well. And some have even said, I wish you would have told me a long time ago how I could support you, right? And it comes back to that mind reading thing too. It's like people a lot of times just don't know how to support us, and we can't expect them to know if we don't communicate and ask.
Yeah, that was a very insightful answer. I think that's very helpful. So you tell people to set boundaries, and you found that doing that is what fundament. I know, like, everyone's different, like you said, and you have to approach it differently. But fundamentally, setting boundaries is one of the biggest difference makers, is what I'm hearing from you, right? And just learning,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah, I would say
having
it's a massive change between those who struggle harder and longer versus people who make a quicker, I don't, it's not quick, right? Nothing's quick, but a quicker change. And they feel more confident in the choices they make because they have communicated to somebody else. Like, all we can control is our own actions and thoughts and behaviors, right? We can't control other people's. But if we tell them what we need and how we need it, and if they then choose not to do it, I think a lot of people find freedom in, like, well, I asked and they didn't do it, so I'm just going to keep going this way. Not everyone in all situations, but I think it's more common once people set boundaries.
Isn't it like if you actually take a step back and just look at the absurdity of, like, how crazy is it that we live in a world where it's considered abnormal and uncomfortable to tell people in your life that, hey, I'm prioritizing my own physical body? Like, if you actually step back, it's like, what a wild, like, world we have developed around us, in which if you tell people in your life, like, hey, I'm going to prioritize putting good food in my body, getting exercise, keeping the peace in my own brain, and only keeping relationships that benefit me, people are like, that's crazy. It's like, shouldn't that just be the normal?
Normal.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram reel yesterday. Actually, it's funny that you said that. And it was like all this, like, whole foods, right? And being out in nature and taking a hike and sitting on the beach for a sunset. And it was like, and on the flip side, it was like being inside bars, being on the Las Vegas Strip, right? Like doing all these things, eating out, going to McDonald's, sitting in a drive-through. And it was like, not that there's anything wrong with any of those activities, to be clear, but it was like, imagine the propaganda that had to happen to see this as abnormal and restrictive and this to be wildly okay. Like this is the normal thing that we're doing. And I was like, yeah, it's just things you don't think about, right? It's just things that are fun to you.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things about, like, one of the things we've tried to do at Macros Inc. as a company is like build community. I mean, I know we're online, but if you're the only person who has that perspective in your life, you just always get this like, oh, I'm weird, right? And so I think having like, I think that's a big part of coaching is you have somebody else who shares the same value structure, right? And then you're in a community of people who have the same value structure. It's like, oh, it's actually normal to do these things.
Have you ever heard there's a quote, this reminds me of this conversation. It reminds me of a quote I saw many years ago, and it was something, I'll probably butcher it a little bit, but it was something like, it is no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And I was like, damn, that's a really good point, because a lot of the behaviors and the habits that we have as a society are making us sick. And it's funny. So then when you go against that, to exactly what you guys are saying, it looks abnormal. Jem, our marketing manager, has the true story that happened to her. She won't mind me sharing this, but she was at the supermarket one time, and she was buying, like, she gets to the checkout line, goes to the clerk, and she's putting things out on the conveyor belt, like tomatoes and lettuce, and like basically like she could make a salad, a lot of a lot of produce and whole foods. And the clerk made like a comment. She's like, oh, I see you're on a health kick, huh? And Jem's like, no, these are just the foods I normally eat. And so, but it was it was like another eye opening, where it's like, if I buy a lot of these types of foods, people see it as, oh, I'm on a health kick all of a sudden. Like, it's crazy when you really think about that. That's wild. It just really highlighted what that that perception is.
It's the same with physical activity, I would say, to a certain extent too, right? Like most people know in the group, right? Like I'm an insane walker. Like it is my mental health. It started out as a chore. Brad Morgan, my first coach, right? He was like, get 10,000 steps, right? Like you can get 10,000 steps, not the proverbial 10,000 steps, but where I was at and where I needed to be. And I was like, all right, done. So I started my day getting 10,000 steps. And now, right, 4 years later, like if I don't get 20,000 steps a day, like something happened. But that is not it was a chore that became something that I rely on for my mental health, right? Which is part of the overall wellness piece. But people are like, I go out in public and they're like, excuse me, do you walk? Are you always walking? And I'm like,
the answer is yes.
Yes. And then the running joke is it keeps me out of prison, right? I mean, I'm kidding, of course, when I say that.
But not really.
But maybe not. I mean, I'm kidding, but the piece that comes from that movement, right, is the dopamine. It's thinking, I can just be me. I'm not momming. I'm not coaching. I'm not friending. I'm not doing any of those things. And I'm listening to music and I'm solving the world's problems in my own mind. It's actually a really big piece to where I like think about, like people like it's actually where I do a lot of like thinking about clients, right? Like what am I thinking? What am I've come to a lot of revelations out walking, actually, 100%. And like how to help people. So for me, it's habit stacking. I'm moving, I'm happy, I'm outside, I'm sort of working. But it's abnormal. People are like, that's insane. 20,000 steps a day is insane. And I'm like, yeah, but so is sitting on the couch for 10 hours. But I used to.
I was in the gym yesterday and I was thinking about this and I was like, I think I have gone to the gym on the worst days of my life and the best days of my life. And it's always made those days a little bit better, like on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is true. Like you don't ever regret a workout, in my opinion. No. I've never heard somebody actually literally say, nope, I regret going for a walk. I regretted going to class. I regretted going to the
Unless you have like, you tear both your quad tendons squatting and then you're like, I should have stayed in bed today.
But I bet they probably, somebody like that still would have been like, I'm glad I went to the gym. I'm glad I still showed up for myself. Yeah. This was unfortunate, but I don't regret going.
Yeah. Your walking comment though, about how you kind of think through things, that's so true, at least for me, because often I'll find myself when I go for a walk, I'll sometimes bring these headphones and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this audiobook and learn about, like I don't know, here's an Alex Hormozy book. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to listen to it. What I find is like halfway through the walk, my thoughts are drifting, and I'm like, okay, I can't listen to this. And instead, so I'll take it off and I'll just think about like, okay, what have I, how else can I, what have I got to do for the day? What else do I need to get done? How do I want to solve this? How do I want to solve that? So I'm like, it is really a good thinking through my thoughts and like getting through how am I going to solve things? What am I going to do? Just like I don't know, it just gives you time to think. And some people can do that by sitting down in their own room and like in a quiet room. That's not me. But if I'm out walking and like just and all I'm doing is walking, then my mind gets to go to places where I can solve things. And it's very I think it's very beneficial. There's actually a I would love for you to I don't know this person's name, but I'd love for you to meet this person in my neighborhood. She literally walks and runs every day. And I live in Minnesota, and so January gets real cold, right? I mean, it's below zero right now. I guarantee she'll be out there walking and running today.
Mhm.
I've never seen someone that dedicated to walking and running. So you think you're a walker? This lady might give you a run for her money, but it just goes to show you like how important that is to some people and what it does for them, and just how crucial it is for their lives that they won't miss a day, to do what they
Yeah.
need to do.
I think
So
the biggest transformation for me in doing it came when, because of the family that I was raised in and how things worked in our family environment.
yeah,
It was very reactive, and that kind of went on to many areas of my life, which kind of placed me in the position I was when I came into coaching. Right. It allows us for a pause, but it allows me to show up in an action type of way
yeah,
instead of a
right,
reaction type of way, for parenting, for coaching, for being a friend, for all things in my life, honestly. Like, when in doubt, walk it out. That's what I tell my clients too. Like, when in doubt, like, move your body. If
yeah,
it's only going to be a positive situation.
for
You may
sure,
not get what
for
you were
sure.
looking for, but it's only going to help you. So why not?
So I want to double click on the family thing, because this is a question that I always have for clients and just like myself in general. Is one of the things we see across all sorts of different things, like whether you're raised in a family that just eats really unhealthy and doesn't exercise, has drug or alcohol problems, like physical abuses. Sometimes people in those families either go, I want nothing. I want my life to look nothing like this, and I go this way. Or it's like, hey, this is what my family does. It's like a learned response, so I'm just going to do this. Can you like pinpoint any of the things that helped you take a 90-degree, and like what do you think those things are, and are those things you can transfer to clients who are maybe in those same situations?
I don't know if I can give my own experience. I don't know if I
Yeah.
can transfer it to people, obviously, because we all have different things, and it's wildly different circumstance, of course, to
Yeah.
circumstance. I'm the youngest of five. Um, I have two sisters and I have two brothers. Both of my sisters are, I would say, at least 75 to 100 pounds overweight. And I have two brothers, who I guess would just say are not necessarily like physically, they're not unhealthy, but they're not healthy, right? They're not living an active, healthy lifestyle. That's what I will say. Um, so does that make me the black sheep? I don't know. I'm okay with that. If it wasn't clear already with my mohawk and all the things, I'm okay being out of the box a little bit. But for me, I think a a big turning point was realizing that I don't have any memories of my mother playing with me. Um, I don't have, like, they were not really present grandparents, and much to do with physicality, right? Like, anyway. So the point is like I didn't want that for myself. I didn't want my kids to have to go through and experience what I have. Um, Diabetes is rampant in my family, both one and two. I have a 22-year-old son that's type 1, and I also have both of my parents type 2, my grandfather and aunt type 1, all these things, right? Early death, not taking care of themselves. And I know that if I'm going to get type 2, I'm going to get it, right? Like, but I surely was not interested in experiencing those things at 35 and 40. Um, And if I can put it up to 75 or 80, like, why wouldn't I? So for me, it was just, I watched a lot of things that I didn't want for myself, and I definitely didn't want for my kids. And I, osmosis, right? Like for me, I was like, if I start changing my life now, my kids will start to see that, and they will see what's like, what it can be, that it can be different, right? Like, and that they'll have memories of me playing with them. So for me, it was about being able to give of myself to everybody else in my life better. I mean, for myself too, right? Of course, but like that was more important to me. And it was doing the internal work. It was asking myself some really hard questions and setting my ego in the corner, right? Like it truly, that's what it was. It was just doing the work. And it was like, what I'm not changing, I'm choosing. How do I ever look back at my kids for me and say, I chose this life? Sorry, right? I don't know. Like that's my own personal story, I guess. So
I'm 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 curious about something you said, and you've mentioned this. Well, you mentioned the word lonely, but then you've alluded to it maybe indirectly a few times, and that is, don't you guys think it's interesting how much human connection matters in people's health outcomes, and how that can shape, like when you don't have a relationship with your mom or your dad, or name your person. It seems to me that the more I learn about people, it doesn't matter how hardened you are on the exterior, how tough you think you are. Everyone has this internal desire, this innate need, where humans need to connect with other humans. Like, you need connections and you need relationships. It's part of being healthy. And if you don't, we see what happens to people in isolation. Like, people that don't have anyone, they die younger. They become unhealthy. So you need those connections. And so it's just, I don't necessarily have a question at the end of this, but just it's an interesting observation that you have to, how you live your life is shaped a lot by the connections that you have and the relationships that you have with people and how much you interact with other people.
I think the
It matters a
corollary,
lot.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a corollary to that though that's important. Is for me, one of the most important skills I ever developed was being okay by myself and being lonely, right? Because I think a
Yes,
lot of times
yes.
people gravitate towards, I need someone or something at all times,
Right,
regardless of whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship, right? And so I think
right.
about, like, you have to learn the skills of being alone, whether that's like mentally alone, physically alone, whatever. But like, you have to be able to have the skill of, and I kind of call this like the bridge of like who you are and where you want to be. Like, you're the only person on that bridge, right? And that's
Yeah,
going to happen multiple times in your life, right? Like, I think it, for a lot of us, it happens, in our 20s, when it's like we graduate college, we have no idea who we are, what we're doing. We're like, all of our friends have left, and we're like, we're not who we are going to be yet, but we're not who we used to be. It happens, I think, when you have, kids. I think it happens when you lose a family member or a parent, or it's like, you're always going to have these chapters of being lonely, and you have to learn what that's like so you can
for
make good
sure.
choices, right? It's like, think about the people who have just jumped from like relationship to relationship to relationship. Like, they've been divorced 5 times. They're dating somebody before the last one's finalized. They're married the day they signed the paperwork on the last divorce. Of like, they never mastered the skill of like, I'm okay by myself, and I'm
Yeah.
only going to choose things that make my life better. I think that's also a big part of it.
I
Did
agree.
you ever live alone, Brent?
Pardon me?
Was there ever a period where you lived by yourself?
Yeah, I lived by myself for 6, 7 years probably. It was
Was it?
awesome. I
See,
loved it. It was
it's,
great.
and I want to ask you kind of the same, Mary Beth, because it's just, it's funny you say that. My before I was married, when I was single, I did a lot of like traveling by myself. Like, I'd go to Europe by myself. I would backpack around by myself. I had an apartment by myself. And not everyone, but like a lot of people were like, "Really, you don't want to go with anybody? Like, how can you live alone? Or how do you want to travel alone?" And I was just like, Actually, it's awesome because I don't got to be tied down by anybody. I didn't mind being by myself. I enjoyed having my own place. I could do whatever I want. I was comfortable in my own, in silence and just by myself. So have you, excuse me, have you found, has that been true for you at all? Like, how comfortable are you, by yourself? Do you enjoy the solitude?
Oh man. Um I would have considered myself an extrovert most of my life. The older I get, I
Really?
would consider
Okay.
myself more like lean more towards introverted.
Yeah.
And I think that a big change came actually in this journey for me. Um because the more that we are with a lot of other people, there's a lot more noise, right? And a lot of times
Yeah.
that noise is not noise that we need to hear, want to hear, or serves
Yeah.
us well. And I found that I just got to a place where I'd rather have it be quiet than to have noise
Yeah.
that I didn't like to hear. I have never lived on my own. Actually, I was pregnant at 19 and had my son at 20, and I lived with my parents until I married Michael. Um, and so I've never lived alone. However, because of that, and my love and passion for travel, my husband is very supportive in that I travel often, and spend at least 1 to 2 weeks a year traveling by myself, so that I can be taken out of the environment where I'm mom, where I'm
Yeah.
a friend, where I'm a wife, and all of those
Yeah.
things. And funny enough, or ironically so, I think that what keeps people from wanting to be alone a lot outside of this discomfort is that's where we tend to actually do the real internal work.
Yes.
And that's
Correct.
so scary for people.
Right.
Um, and I think also at the front end of that is, I think the more confident you are in who you are, the more the higher the ability, or I'm not sure how I want to phrase that, but like the more comfortable we are being alone. Um, I always joke around when somebody's like, "Oh, you're not going to come Saturday night?" I'm like, "No, I'm just going to stay home." Like, I like me.
Yeah.
I like being
Yeah.
with me. Like,
Yeah.
and if I need to go out, I'll go out, but I don't need to go out. I don't, if it's not going to serve me, like that's going to take away from my schedule tomorrow, right? No thanks. I always say
Yeah.
there's a market out there for like a bar or a restaurant where it's like music from 12 to 6 because you want to do 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. stuff from noon to 6. And it's people who have jobs and it's people who have money and they tip. It's not me, but it's a gold mine out there for somebody. I'm telling you.
But the volume is at an appropriate level. There's
Yes.
subtitles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
It's good noise. It's good noise.
yeah.
I think you nailed. I really love what you said about the reason some people don't like to be alone or just they won't do it is because, like you said, sometimes you got to face your demons, man. And that is a tough, very uncomfortable thing to do. And people will go to great lengths to avoid those things and then keep
Yes.
living the life that they don't enjoy, but they won't actually go do the things that they need to do to really, like you said, look inside and face your demons. And that having that solitude where it's just you and there's no one or nothing to distract you and you're just left with your own thoughts, sometimes people can't handle that and they don't want to. They don't want to face it. But when you do, damn, that's a hugely important, I think, growth moment because then you can start to realize things about who you are. And even if it was things that happened to you in your past, you're like, okay, well, the past is the past. Now here's what I can do about it. Like the past doesn't have to define me, right?
Yeah.
My
I
mom
think,
and dad might have done this or this to me. Okay, that may be true. Now it's on me at this point. So I got to let that go. And I just got
and it's
to,
it's really like hard now, easy later, easy now, hard later, right? In that circumstance, it's really interesting to me sometimes, like the pushback and that change, because it's that type of situations like it's hard now and it's really hard later. There
yeah,
isn't even like an
exactly.
easy in that equation, right? It's like
No,
if people knew like the other side of hard, how amazing it is and how really it wasn't that hard. Again, I think it's fear. It's so many people
yeah.
have different fears, but it's the fear of what if holds so many people back.
Yeah, there's a,
We actually talked about that in our company meeting today. It's like
yeah,
we always focus on worst case scenario, but like just focus on the best case scenario.
If you're
Most of
going to
the
overthink,
time,
make it be positive.
yeah, most of the time the worst case scenario doesn't happen, and in reality, worst case scenario is never really that bad. unless you like prison's the worst case scenario. That sounds pretty awful. But like, I mean, it's usually it never goes there, and it even if it does, it's usually not that bad.
Yeah.
You guys
Worry
ever
is on
read
a
that?
down payment on a problem that you may never
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that quote from Mark Twain where he was like, "I've been through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened."
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's
And
basically
we're still
saying
here.
like a lot of the stuff that we think we're going through, we just made it up. Like we make it out to be worse than it actually is. So like the
You
things that
can
you think,
thank evolution for that, right?
Right. And
Because the
and
people who
fight or flight.
well, no, it's more of like the people who always thought about worst case scenario were probably more likely to just survive and pass on their genes. So that's probably why we have it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why we're
Yeah,
prone to type 2 errors.
yeah, yeah. But back to the fear thing too. That the I keep talking about quotes, but it just keeps coming to mind. There was another one that said the fears that you don't face become your limits. So I think that is very relevant again to what. So, well, let me ask you a question though. First of all, this has been a really interesting conversation. I've loved what we've talked about. Do you find yourself having these types of conversations with your clients too?
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Um,
it looks very different, right? It's kind of like
yeah,
I don't want this probably to sound the way it's going to come, but you have a different conversation with a 5-year-old than you do a 25-year-old, right? I'm going to have a different conversation with a stay-at-home mom than I am a surgeon that's on my team.
yeah, for sure.
It's the same conversation. It's just how everybody has fears. Somebody's fear is killing somebody on a table because they're have their life in their hands, and somebody
Yeah,
else's fear is their kid has an eating disorder because they watched them use a food scale, right? Like it's just so different.
yeah.
And I think it always comes down to two things: communication and education. Always
You
understand
do.
why you're doing it, but use it as this whole scale weighing thing, right? Like I have a 15-year-old daughter. She watches me use the scale all the time. And I'm even when I'm not actively trying to lose weight, it was never a conversation about weight. And I used that opportunity to educate her on like, I need to know how much protein I'm getting because I don't
Yeah.
want to be frail, right? Like
Here's
I
why I
want to be
do
able to
that.
take
Right.
your kids someday to Florida when I'm 80. That's why I'm weighing how much protein I have. Quite literally, like give it an
Yeah.
actual outcome of why we're doing it. Um, and education, I don't know, I just can't like hone that home enough. It's like if you understand why you're doing it, you're more likely to continue to do it instead of just being told to do it.
Yeah, but and isn't it interesting though too how your job as a coach and a lot of coaches in this industry, well, I mean all of the coaches in this industry really, it's not you get in and you start working with people and then you realize the nutrition and fitness part is like that much of it. Most of it is like habit and behavior based, right? Like
See, I
It's
mean,
both.
I would maybe push back on that a little bit of like I've seen what a lot of coaches do, and then I've seen what we do. Right? There's a reason why we
sure,
coach the way
okay,
we
sure.
coach, right? Is
I mean, I see your point. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
A lot of consumer behavior is I want someone to deliver me this on a platter. It's like I want a meal plan. I want
right,
here's my
right,
grocery list. It's like because those are the easy things that
right.
they feel like they're doing something, but
Mhm.
that's not what actually needs to be done,
It's not what you
Right.
need.
right?
So one of the
It's
conversations
yeah.
on an intake call that I have is the difference here, in my opinion, is education. It's education. I can tell you what to do and how to get from A to B, but what happens when I'm not here anymore?
Yeah,
If
right.
you don't know why you did what you're doing to get to A to B, if you don't know why it's important to move your body, if you don't know why it's important to have protein, like I can just put together you should eat green beans, rice, and right, like for lunch and dinner, and for breakfast you should have eggs and vegetables. Somebody can follow that and they'll get to where they want to go. And then they don't know why they did it. They have no idea. So I think in to both of your points, like it is way more psychological. It's more of a psychological battle than it is a physical one. Um, but it's equally important to understand why you're doing what somebody's asking you to do so that they can continue on in life and understand what they need to do to make a change, right? Life happens to all of us. We can very easily put on 5 or 10 pounds, 15 pounds, right? That startling fact of 100 calories a day over maintenance in a year is is weight gain, right? I mean, that's insane. That's like sniffing an M&M. But if you have the tools and you were taught the education of what you need to do to go on, those people feel so confident that they know exactly what to do and they can do it. Right? It's hard to have a job where you try to work yourself out of a job. But it's also the most rewarding. It's also so rewarding. I have a client leaving this week and I'm like, I want to cry because I'm so proud of her, and I want to cry because I don't want her to go. She's ready to go, but I don't want her to go. I love my people hard and fast, so it's extra hard for me.
I need to know how many calories are in sniffing an M&M.
I mean, depends how hard and long you sniff, but I gotta
get stuck up there and then end up in your throat and swallow it.
Yeah, depends on how hard you inhale it. Hopefully, no one's ever snorted M&Ms.
and what color it is. I'm sure color matters.
This is a totally not relevant story, but sort of relevant. In high school, at lunch one day, some kid took the leftover stuff from the end of a Sour Patch Kids bag and just snorted it.
Oh my God! Oh, it's like all the sugar or whatever it is.
Being a teenage boy is a wild experience. Like,
wait,
let me just.
What was it?
Sour.
What was
like the extra powder at the end of the Sour Patch Kids bag.
Yeah.
It's
yes.
like all malic acid, basically, or citric acid crystals.
God.
It just.
I've seen kids do pixie sticks.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
What did the kid do, Brad?
Immediately went to the trash can. And I was like, I'm telling you, being a teenage boy is a wild experience.
Hey, Brad, was this kid by chance you? Any chance that was
No.
actually you?
No.
How much do I have to pay you to? How much would I have to pay you to snort remnants of Sour Patch Kids, Brad?
There's no amount of money at this point. I wish I had more of that in me, but that is not my personality.
It's not your.
What if coffee was taken away unless you did it?
Yeah,
now
that's a great leverage.
I probably would do that then. Yes.
You got to make the stakes higher, Dylan. Get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Money's money. I can always go find more of it. If somebody took away coffee, God, the headache would be really bad for about a week.
Hey, coffee's
like
finite. We print money out of thin air. Coffee's finite, so that's a great point. Coffee
not
beans.
For me, it's not. I can always go find it. I'm very resourceful.
All right, I usually round out these coach episodes with some personal slash whimsical questions. So I'm gonna
one word for it.
Yeah.
So since we just talked about coffee, are you coffee or energy drinks?
Oh.
Or do you do both?
No energy drinks.
Okay.
I don't like the taste of them, to be honest.
Okay.
I also, generally speaking, have a decent amount of energy. Well, then perimenopause enters the chat. But generally speaking, I have a decent amount of energy, but I drink one cold brew every morning.
Okay. If you had to eat the same meal every day for 1 week straight, what meal would you choose?
For all 3 meals or just one meal?
Yeah, you can only you got a Morgan Spurlock this thing where all he had was McDonald's for a full week. No, you can only have one thing for an entire week for every meal, or one type of food. Let's say
a pizza.
Pizza? Okay.
Yeah.
Solid.
It's just because you can change it so much to make it taste different.
It's a great combination of carbs.
Lunch pizza, dinner pizza.
Yeah, it's a great combination of carbs, fats, and proteins too. So you get all your, you can get your veggies, your protein. It's like the perfect food. I think we don't agree on that.
With ranch?
I used to eat that way in high school. Yeah, I haven't for a long time.
That's such a Midwest thing.
Well,
you drink coffee black and you don't eat ranch with your pizza? What is going on?
Yeah,
I am what we call an adult.
Pizza.
I am an adult.
I am not. I'm not trying to be one either, to be clear.
My wife and I have this argument at least once a week about ranch because she loves ranch. And I'm just it's just mayo with Italian seasoning in it. What are we doing here, people?
Nothing like that.
Yes, it is. Look at the ingredients. It's like Italian seasoning, soybean oil, and maybe some egg in there. It's like
mine is Greek yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah,
you
can make it
in Italian seasoning.
But it doesn't taste. But if I mix that at home, it's not the same. So I don't know what voodoo is going on, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
magic.
I guess.
Would you rather never track macros again or never lift weights again?
Oh, never lift
That's
weights
easy.
again. Yeah, it's no secret that's my kryptonite. I struggle to be consistent training. I want to be strong, I want to be ripped, I want to be longevity, I want all of those things, but I don't want to go to the gym. Although when I get there, I love it. But it is nutrition is no longer. I actually don't think it was ever really an issue. It was just a lack of awareness and education. Like food for me is not hard. I love food, but I can easily say no to things.
Yeah. Yeah.
This reminds me of, this is probably almost 20 years ago now. The first time my mom was like, "Hey, if I go to the gym, would you like show me some like weightlifting things?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to." So we did like one set of something, and she's like, "Yeah, this burns and it's uncomfortable. Why do you do this?" And I was like, I mean, that's a valid question. She's like, no, why would I do this? I was like, it's a good question.
I think 2026 is going to be my turning point. My husband decided we put him on he's never been like into a gym or lifted a weight in a day in his life. Well, he's French. So anyway, and my daughter too is like really wants to be strong and get really good at tennis. And so she's like, "Can I go?" And now I'm all in because for me, I don't want to say it's more important. Yeah. Well, yes, but also like it's so important for me to watch her be okay, to like be strong and not skinny, right? Like to have all of those things, but also just if I would have had somebody to show me and teach me that at 15, oh man. I mean, I love my life, don't get me wrong, but it would have been very different.
Also, your husband's awesome. He's the best.
I mean, I always joke like I don't deserve him. I do. It's a joke, but he really is amazing.
He's a cool guy.
Are you a movie person? And if so, what would you say are some of your favorites?
I haven't watched movies in a long time because I can't find like the ability to sit that long anymore. However, when I met my husband, Netflix was like, for all of us that are like, I don't know, over 30, you used to be able to like mail away for DVDs and they would mail them to you.
I remember that day. I remember
okay, that's how Netflix started for all of you who are like 30. And he would burn them. He would order like 5 at a time, burn them and send them back. Because he's French, right? I'm just kidding. But
I didn't think those were readable even back then. I guess I'm wrong.
I don't know. He's pretty smart. He's pretty crafty. But anyway, so we spent a lot of time when we first started dating watching movies. And so, did you ask me my favorite? Sorry, ADHD kicked in.
Yeah, So what are some of your favorite movies?
Shawshank Redemption is one of my most favorite movies.
Very solid.
Radio Flyer, if you've never seen that movie, is a really great movie.
It feels like it rings a bell, but I don't know.
Late 80s, early 90s. It's like not really a happy movie, but I liked it. Man, there's so many. It's so hard for me, like movies and music. It's been a large part of my life.
Have you ever seen the movie, either of you, the movie About Time, 2013? I think I asked Brad about this.
You texted me this the other day, and I said,
"Dude,
no,
I'm telling you,
I'm busy working." That was my response.
It is so good. Like honestly, you guys, go watch the movie About Time, and you're gonna like. You would look at this, you'd look it up, and you'd be like, "Why is this guy recommending a chick flick?" It looks like a chick flick on the outside. It kind of is in some ways, but it's so much different than that. Like I'm telling you, go watch that movie. Fantastic message.
I will watch any movie with Rachel McAdams.
She's great. Yeah, go check that out.
I will throw that on my list of things to do.
Do it,
and then she won't ever do it.
Yeah, and then she won't ever do it. Yeah.
This is what I tell Dylan. I'm like, sure, it's on my list, and then I never do it.
Yep.
Well, it took Brad like 2 years to watch the movie Blackberry, and he finally did. And he's like, "Yeah, I actually really like that movie." I was like, "See, thank you."
Some of us just have way more important things to do than sit down and watch a movie.
So
I couldn't even tell you the last time I watched one. Really?
It took me 7 days to get through one episode of a TV show the other day. Like 7 different days of watching it at like 10-minute chunks while I was doing something.
Oh,
what show was that?
Yellowstone.
Oh, okay. If you could coach one celebrity, who would it be?
Oh, I have an answer to this.
I know who he thinks it is too. Fitness and nutrition, or just to like be a part of like
Any no, I mean you can coach any
it's a broad
celebrity
question.
in the world, just coaching them like we do for for our clients. Like you can pick any celebrity that you like. Or any person.
What's their goal? This matters.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. My answer is going to reflect what their goal is.
We'll say they just want to learn they just want to know more about nutrition as a whole. They want to deepen their understanding of nutrition. So this is a mental thing, not physical.
Male or female?
That's up to you.
That's not what I asked.
You don't get to interrogate me. I'm interrogating you.
I am though.
Okay, all right, both. One female and one male.
Oh man, Pink for sure. And to be clear, I've had this hair far longer than Pink did. This has nothing to do with Pink. I actually just
sue her for the trademark.
I actually just love who she is as a human. And really fun fact, 2 years ago on my yearly trip to Maui, I was sitting at a bar having dinner, and this guy came in and like did a double take, and he sat down and he was like, "Oh, you looked like my boss." And I was like, "That's the worst pickup line I've ever heard in my life." And then anyway, long story short to go on, it's the guy that flies her. He travels with her to like fly around. Anyway,
wow,
fun story.
Cool.
And a male base. This question is so hard because it's really like nothing to do with nutrition. It's really just who I would want to be able to have that kind of like connection and spend time with. Elton John would be my male client.
He has some bangers of songs. Like that guy's a musical genius.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of music, this will be like kind of my final question. Then maybe Brad can throw some at you. I don't know, but music. What kind of music you listen to?
Everything but heavy metal. In the 90s, like my mother had over 5,000 CDs. Music.
Damn.
Yeah, music was her thing. We had a place here called Believe in Music, and she kept that place open. I mean, if an album dropped, she bought it, and it was on in my house 24/7, 365. So music is a massive part of my life. And
same here.
All of my playlists, like my massage music playlist, right? Like my walking music, my workout music. It is the most bipolar thing you could ever see, maybe possible from anyone. Like I listen to stuff from like Louis Armstrong Big Band. My grandpa lived with us when we were young, to like, I don't know. I'm like Metallica to Pink to Elton John. Like, I mean, it's just everywhere. I love music.
Yeah. That's I'm kind of the same way. Growing up, I remember my parents listened to a lot of like just the 90s country. So I remember just listening to that growing up, and then you get older and you branch out and you're like, there's a lot more good stuff out here than that. And so now it's just kind of like, it's kind of everything.
But you always land back with Garth because you have to.
Oh man, Garth had that guy when I don't know if he's still doing it, but he had like an agreement with the Wynn in Las Vegas, and they were paying him something like, I don't think it was like $100 million a year to do shows there. It might have even been more than that. I'm like, dude, that guy is
and like 10 a year,
crazy.
Like small intimate shows. You have to get into a lottery to get them. Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah.
Did you know that Elton John had his kneecaps? He had to have them like replaced because they were so arthritic that he turned them into jewelry when the surgeon removed them.
I am 0% shocked.
Wow. Thank you for that fact, Bradley.
If I ever have to get a joint replaced, I'm going to ask for the bone part pieces that they take out, and I'm going to turn them into jewelry. It'll be awesome.
I had a surgeon give me a piece of my patella that I chipped during CrossFit.
Yeah, that's what he did. He has his patella. So you could turn it into jewelry.
I mean, I didn't take it home because that's weird.
What?
It just looked like a little piece, like a little white Tic Tac. It was getting caught in my joint, so I had the doctor scope it. And he was like, "You're right. It didn't show up on MRI, but here it is."
Apparently, since we're talking about random facts now, did you know that Macaulay Culkin once ran an online competition, whatever you want to call it, where he said, "What should my middle name be?" And you could anybody could make a submission and a recommendation, and the winning name for what his middle name was going to be. It was Macaulay Culkin, and he legally changed his name to Macaulay Culkin because
That
everyone
tracks.
suggested that his middle
He's
name
weird.
should be Macaulay Culkin. So
He's
that's
a-
literally
he's
his
an
name
odd
now.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids, my little one, she's 3, and now in the mornings when she wakes up, she'll come sit on the couch as the kids are getting ready for school, and she often asks to watch Home Alone because she just wants to see like the bad guys get hurt and the little boy win, and so like she watches that like almost every morning now. Is yeah, Home Alone. So
It's one of the best Christmas
good
movies.
times. We had such good movies growing up in the 90s, though. If you think about it, like there's some
really
great
did.
movies back then. Sandlot was another one that I loved, that my kids love. So many good ones. Is there anything else you want to add before we duck out of here?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, well, I was, but Brad too. Either of you guys.
If you are interested in working with Mary Beth, you can go to macrosinc.net, sign up for coaching, and request her when you enroll.
And I might just visit you
That's all
in real life.
She might just
what you
show
were
up.
about to
Your
say-
console call may just be a knock at the door.
I mean, I think I'm at like 6 clients now that I've met in real life,
That's
like on
awesome.
purpose. Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
On
actually.
purpose.
Yeah, like not just out in the wilds. Like, hey, I'm coming to Florida. Let's meet. Like last week, I
That's
met
cool.
I met 2 clients.
Yeah,
That's super
that's
cool.
awesome.
Brad, I just want to say when you said that, it sounded like you were about to do one of those commercials where they're like, if you or love someone you know has been diagnosed with blah blah blah, you might be entitled to compensation. You could consider doing those voiceover commercials like that.
If you have been affected by the fact that you need to buy a new wardrobe because of your coaching with Macros Inc., please don't send me the bill. I will not pay it.
Don't send. Yeah.
I think what Dylan just said to you was that you have a face for radio.
I mean, that's not wrong. I would
That
not
wasn't
disagree
very
with him
nice
on
of
that.
him.
Hey, sometimes the truth is the truth.
Dylan, I am glad to see you in a different flannel today, though.
I have 100 different flannels. I even have shades
I
of
don't
this
think
one.
that's true. I think you.
It's
probably have
100% true.
100. Okay, I want a picture of all 100 labeled, and if it's wrong, we will tell everybody that you lied on air, and
Okay,
then
I
you
maybe
double
have,
down
like-
on that lie.
I maybe have like 10 of them, but
Okay, that's more reasonable.
my wardrobe is very full. Went from being a guy who, when I was single, had like 2 shirts, and now I have an entire closet of more than I'll ever wear. So, thank you to
And
my
one
wife
pair
for
of
that
cargo
one.
shorts.
And
And
he
one pair
also
of cargo-
doesn't own a dress shirt because he did not wear it to our
No,
executive team.
that's not true. No, that's not true. I do own a very nice dress shirt. I'm proud to
Oh,
say.
that's even worse then. You just decided not to wear it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that's going to be a moment that'll never be lived down.
Nope.
Nope.
But I'm okay with that. This has been fun. I really enjoyed it. Do you want to come on again sometime?
Anytime.
All right. What are you doing tomorrow?
Working, walking,
Yeah, actually.
drinking Starbucks.
Getting a
Um,
2-hour massage, actually.
Are you?
Oh,
Okay.
That sounds
Yeah, I
both
haven't had body work.
amazing and terrible at the same time. I don't think I'd be able to move the next day. I'd be like,
Yeah. I thankfully have a hot tub that I can go sit in after, but it's definitely as a massage therapist, I don't get enough work. And so it usually lands in like not very often, but then in 2-hour sessions where I'm hating my life the next day,
Yeah.
but also so worth it.
All right.
Thank you, and
We appreciate
thank you,
you.
for everyone. Yes, thank you
All
for
right.
coming on. Everyone who
Yes.
listened and watched, thank you. We'll have you on again. I'm going to play this lovely outro music. So I'll catch you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Have a great Thursday.
We're out of here.